Hey, my name is Chris, and this is my Let's Play for the Evolution of Video Games course. So the game I chose is called Cosmic Commuter. It was designed by John Van Ryzen and developed by Activision in 1984. Van Ryzen did a lot of space-themed games and some similar games, not necessarily made by Ryzen, but similar to this game, include like Space Invaders, Galaga, Star Voyager. Star Voyager was more of like a first-person type game where you would sit in the cockpit of the ship and fly around space and shoot. But I think it's really cool how a company like Activision, who's known for games all over the world, started out with like just games like this on the Atari 2600. I mean, nowadays we have better like looking games, just in apps. So I think that's pretty cool. They work on the Activision's known for Guitar Hero, Call of Duty. I think they did work on Destiny, Spyro, Crash, maybe. But you get the idea. So I think that's really cool. So the mechanics of the game are relatively simple, but it's not much of a surprise because the controls back then on the early consoles were pretty limited. But to start, you have to land the ship, which you saw me do earlier. You just kind of come down from above, but you have to toggle like up and down because otherwise, like if you go too fast, the ship will explode and you'll lose a life. If you look in the bottom left, underneath that bar, you see the life. It says 3, and then the image next to that is like the people, which I'll get to later on. But once you land the ship, it turns into like a side scroller type game where you have to fly around and shoot. You don't necessarily have to shoot. You can just kind of like avoid the obstacles by flying through them. But the main concept, well, first of all, to speed up, you have to hold down either left or right. That kind of speeds up your ship. And to shoot is spacebar. So that's pretty much that's the controls of the game. They're relatively simple, like I said. But the main concept of the game is once you land the ship, you have to fly around and you have to pick up the people at the bottom. And to do that, you have to come down and press down right above the person, and you'll pick them up. And then you see the little counter next to where the image of the man is, and um, that goes up. So the main concept is each level you fly around and you pick different people up and you have to avoid the obstacles. And if you hit an obstacle, you lose a life. So that's hence the name Cosmic Commuter. I guess the game's kind of supposed to be like people commuting on a spaceship to work. I don't know. But that's pretty much it. So in the bottom rightish, middle-ish part of the screen, you see there's a timer going down. See, so if that gets to 0, you also lose a life. So at the top of the screen, every once in a while, a little like pink circle with an F in it appears. That'll reset your timer. This way, you don't lose too many lives. But I think what's unique about this game is that the fact that rather than like just going back and forth the left and right shooting whatever's in front of you, it's a like Galaga, it's a side-scrolling game that gives a little more dimension. And rather than just shooting things, you also have to like pick people up. So it's kind of like avoid the obstacles, pick people up. There's a lot to do in it. So I can definitely see how like kids back in the '80s would run home from school, turn this on, get excited about it, because I do think it's a relatively fun game back then. I mean, compared to a lot of the games we have now, it's like I'm probably gonna play something else. But I do think it's an interesting game. As far as what I like about the game goes, like I said, I think the rather than Galaga type game, I like the depth that the having to pick the people up, how that gives a little more to the game. Side scrolling, you got to avoid up and down. I think it's a little more complex than games like Galaga, which I do like. I also like how as you progress, the levels get a little more challenging, but most games are like that, and that's what keeps games interesting. One of the things I don't like though is that it's just a very repetitive game. Like I found myself after like playing it a few times, I was like, okay, this is kind of boring. Like regardless of how many obstacles change, like how they get a little more challenging. It's like how much more challenging can you get? Like it's still the same thing over and over again. Like this the main point is just scoop the people up, take them to the launch pad, send them away. It's like it's fun, but it's limited fun in my opinion. Overall, though, I think the game. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed what I played. It was refreshing from playing like Monster Hunter, Fortnite all day. But I think it's interesting how Activision kind of company that's just known for, Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, these immensely popular games, like just started off a little things like this. I think it's pretty neat, and I'm glad I'm taking this class because I feel like us, like our generation right now, we're kind of spoiled with games. We have such amazing games. We don't really get to see like where it all started. But that's my Let's Play. I really enjoyed playing the game, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. So I appreciate you watching it, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you.